There. Okay. Finally good to go. Start the stream. So many technical difficulties. So many. Holy cow. Never streaming Revit again. That was awful. It just... nothing worked? Okay. Yep, we're finally good to go. Sending John and Bruce the proof that Nami goes after my internet cord. Okay. Here we go. Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. Do I not have audio? I heard no audio. Please, please. At least let it be that you guys have audio and I don't. Oh, there's audio. It was just the first line had no audio. I got trolled. Okay. You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna... Oh wait, no, he's in his normal mode. You're gonna have to prove me guilty. You're gonna have to prove me not guilty today, right? Ha ha ha! If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. Grr!
Now listen up. You'd better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get a creepy, slimy, and not guilty, I'll never forgive you, ever.
Maya. FedEx. FedEx. No, that's probably not Mia, but I don't know. Oh, it is. Mia. Maya, how's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. But... Can't give up. There's still some hope left. I guess she does say biggest smiles. I thought she said you... Or wait. Didn't they say something different in the anime? Or I don't know. I feel like that's been butchered somewhere, but I don't know where. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. Okay. Yeah, it's that accursed on guard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, I don't call me anymore. I mean it. You're really mean, pal. They don't have caller ID on their phones back then, I guess. Ah, Gumshoe, I'm really, really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after the killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not going to give up. Gumshoe. Till the trial is over, till the verdict is handed down, we're gonna do everything we can to find the killer. We can't get Maya out. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard with the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. That's true, I could do that if they found Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. I have to make the trial last longer? If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you got, then you too can draw it out. Oh yeah, I gotta bring up the guide, because this is gonna get... Okay. Out of the entire series, the hardest part is at the very end of this. And I will point out to you how ridiculously hard it is when we get there. So, case, attorney, justice for all. There it is. I gotta bring up my guide. My boy, my guide. Where we at? Pretty close to the end. Or to trial. I think that's where we are. Okay. Oh, I move the chat box so I can see the chat. Please do point it out. I've been curious about that. Always use a walkthrough. They're wonderful. I always forget to use them and get stuck forever. So you sent me some Phoenix Wright video where the guy complains about some of the stuff that happens in Phoenix Wright, or like he makes jokes about it. But like, I am saving a lot of the headache that we would be going through by using this guide. It's fun to try and figure it out, but there's also as many times as it's fun to figure it out, they make it actually really difficult in a lot of spots. So, anyway. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. Am I too loud? Because it looks like my mic is clipping sometimes. So, like right there when I said so, my mic clipped. Believe in us, we're gonna give it all we got, just like you. Got it, thanks, Gumshoe. Yeah, it looks like my mic's clipping constantly. Okay. Clipping is when your mic gets to its maximum amount of volume that it can handle, and then it will distort. It'll kind of be like, and it'll just kind of like top out because it can't go any higher, and it makes like a little distorty noise. I can see my mic output, and it's like up in the red, and then it'll top out, and then the whole thing will turn red for a second because it's clipping. So I turn my mic down a little bit, and hopefully that helps. If I need to turn the game volume down a little bit too to compensate, I'll do that. Oh, actually my game volume's up way higher than it normally is. I think it's normally right around there. All my settings got screwed up. I don't know what the heck happened. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah! The power of my friends will get me through. It's like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through, I know it.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on God.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being, what exactly was Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder? That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Matt on guard, and then proceeded to escape the scene of the crime wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying that she is guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. And I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes, Juan Carrita was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt on guard. What a surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. This is a video game, after all.
I know what's going on this time. So I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. At least until Maya's safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please.
Oh, okay. I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor underpaid action star.
And then what's your relation to the defendant?
Well, I guess I'm a sort of lousy mentor to him in a way, yeah. Mr. Powers, please. You don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy.
On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went.
All you need to do is answer what you're asked.
Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Ungard's room.
Oh, okay, sure. Hey, Phoenix, isn't it funny I didn't tell you about how I went to see him before the murder? After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room with an assassin right in front of him. I mean, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. And I watched the two of them for a while, and then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night. I couldn't make them wait for me.
Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Power's testimony.
And talking with the bellboy is no big deal.
If no one assumes that the person Mr. Ungard was speaking with was an ordinary... If one assumes that the person Mr. Ungard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we?
Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just going to have to charge in head first, right?
Visit to Matt's room.
After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room.
The defendant's room? Why'd you go there?
Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother, sort of, and I wanted to say congrats.
What's wrong? Why did you stop?
Mr. Wright.
What is it?
You're gonna try and trick me into a corner, aren't you?
Huh?
I know I'm just a poor, underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer.
Oh, he thinks I'm gonna try to pin it on him.
I know, I feel sorry for Will too. He's not a bad guy, and I think this is the last time we see him? I think?
No one said you were, Mr. Powers.
No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Every time?
Witness, I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. For now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony.
Sorry.
So you went to the defendant's room, and then?
Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly turn into the bad guy here?
Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume.
Are you sure that that was Matt on guard?
Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then.
If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken.
And what was the defendant doing, standing in front of his own room? Isn't it a bit weird to be standing next to your room?
No.
Okay, was he talking to... He was talking to someone at first. I thought it was a bellboy. So here's one of those things that would automatically kind of screw you over. Reading the guide, I have to press his fourth statement and then his third statement. Which means that if you're playing this game normally, you're going to do what I'm doing, which is just going through each thing sequentially. Then you're going to get to the end and be confused because nothing happened. So I have to go out of order in order for me to find the contradiction. So here's the fourth statement. I watched the two of them for a while, but I gave up and went back.
You saw the two of them, a bellboy and the defendant, together, correct?
So like if I played through this, I would go through everything once, I wouldn't find what I was looking for. I'd start presenting evidence on stuff until I got frustrated and almost given up. Come back, repress everything, and then I would find the right thing. That's literally how it would go. I'm not joking. So anyway, we're skipping that because we have the guide.
You saw the two of them, the defendant and the bellboy, together, correct?
Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats.
Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange?
If the bellboy just wanted to say congrats, he wouldn't have been standing there for so long.
You know, I did feel something weird.
I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
A tip? That's a perfectly normal thing to do.
So how long did you wait and watch the two of them? No more than a minute or two, I think.
I'll press this just so we can see him talk about Phoenix. So, who are these guests you're talking about?
You guys, of course, you and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway.
This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state, I ended up focusing on her. And I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Okay. So now I have to press this one. Was this part you're talking about that you wouldn't know without the guide? No, I mean, stuff like this happens a lot, and we just skip it because I have the guide. But no, that's coming later. At first, what do you mean by that?
I didn't think he was a normal bellboy.
And why was that?
Why did I think that, Mr. Wright?
How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago, you stated...
I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip.
Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? See, you had to go out of order to get him to say those things. Or press everything twice to get him to this part.
Ah, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he?
Perhaps we should let the witness tell us.
Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about the bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip.
So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's strange about that?
Oh, well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me.
How much it was?
And that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all. He had a freaking zipper on his face.
Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. It actually says to choose number 2, the tip, but I'm curious about the face. So I'll start with the face and then see if it'll let me go back to this again. What was so shocking about the bellboy's face, Mr. Powers?
Well, he wasn't exactly a boy, more like an old gramps. I hope you know that discrimination towards old men is a no-no in my court. No, that's not what I meant at all. In the smack middle of the guy's face, there was a line of stitches. A line of stitches? Yeah, and it went straight from the tippy top of his head to the bottom of his chin. Almost like if that thread snapped, all the stuff in his head would come spilling out.
Ah! He was there at Ungard's house. He was the butler.
What is it, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor. So that means Ungard was talking with the killer then. If that fact were exposed, Ungard would be declared guilty in a blink. Phoenix, you have to play dumb here. Pretend you don't know anything. Yes, Chief.
You sure you don't have anything you'd like to say, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What'd you just say, Your Honor?
Nothing, Mr. Wright, nothing. We're just going around and around in circles. Now then, Mr. Powers, please continue with your testimony.
Okay. So, I'm supposed to say the other thing. Move the game forward. Alright, so we're talking about the tip. The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree?
Sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think.
A little too much?
Would you please clarify for the court, and about how much would you say the defendant gave the bellboy?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess.
And why is that?
Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash.
A roll of cash?
Ah, well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? And a very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor.
The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him.
Now you're saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I be standing around here prosecuting?
He's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work.
So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment. Isn't it obvious for the murder of Mr. Juan Carrera?
Sorry, I inflected on.
For the murder of Mr. Juan Carrera. Then the bellboy the witness saw.
Why were they doing this transaction out in the open, by the way?
Yes, he was the assassin.
At like a con. You just go to like E3 or like TwitchCon or something and there's some fat sacks of cash. Why would you do that there? Oh, Powers is like this. He's like,
oh, hold your horses now. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't have any proof of this, do you? Never ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor. I have it here. The card Shelley the Killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley the Killer. He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the Killer.
Really?
What's wrong, Mr. Powers?
Nothing. It just clicked in my head and...
I'm doing Edgeworth for some reason.
It just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out.
Oh.
Actually, I saw the bellboy again later that night.
what?
Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. Right away.
The second time.
This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. That's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Carrera's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean...
Thank you very much. That is all we need for now.
Huh? But I'm not done, there's still more.
Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh.
This is no laughing matter. The second time. This time I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And what time was it?
Oh, well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8 p.m., right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that, and then people came back. Or then I came back. And then I went to the bathroom. I guess maybe it was around 8:10 by that time.
You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers?
Sorry.
Who remembers when they went to a bathroom at a party? I don't know.
Thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats.
That's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Are you sure it was the same bellboy?
Yeah.
And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all.
But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face.
Eric?
I'm sure it was the same guy that was talking with Matt.
So which room did the bellboy come out of?
Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Carita's room. The victim's room, huh?
Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, all right.
Words cannot describe how screwed I am.
Let's continue with the testimony, shall we?
Now that I think about it, the bellboy did seem...
the bellboy did seem kind of out of place. So what exactly was so out of place about him?
Right. Why the insipid grin?
Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's gonna say next.
Oh well, the bellboy was empty-handed.
Empty-handed?
The bellboy was one of those room service people, right? Then he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you?
I agree that is a bit strange, Mr. Powers.
But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide or try to pull a fast one? I'm Phoenix Wright. I can pull a fast one. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy.
But there really is.
There really isn't.
If you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There's no reason for them to be empty-handed ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one.
By the way, you literally have to try to pull a fast one to move forward. Grr, Edgeworth, grr. Are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious?
I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could amend your testimony, please,
Because otherwise you won't amend his testimony.
Yes, sir.
I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of the guest room empty-handed. Mr. Powers.
Yes.
How do we know he's not empty-handed? So I just presented the wine glass, but we know he's not empty-handed. Why? Because there it is in Juan Carita's room sitting there. So why would he have the wine glass when he left?
Yes.
You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true.
But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and...
So, a baseball has stitches. Are you saying that all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches?
Ugh. Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed?
I would like to ask the court to please take a look here. Oh, you're saying because he brought stuff in, so he wasn't... Of course he's not empty-handed when he's going in, but he's going to be empty-handed when he's coming out, duh.
This is the crime scene.
There's a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Carita's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you would look at what's on the top of the table in the lower right-hand corner here, anyone can clearly see that it's a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Carita's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. Ah!
But that would mean the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room.
Ah, but can you prove that Mr. Kurita was already dead at that time?
Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes.
I blame you for leading me down this route.
The dialogue's been kind of funny, actually.
A baseball does have stitches after all.
I don't know. Just the baseball stitches and then that.
I'm terribly sorry.
What's with him? Why is he laughing? Why are we defending a killer again? Because if we get him convicted, then he won't let Maya go and she'll just like die of starvation or whatever. So we're trying to draw out the trial as long as we can so that Gumshoe and the other police can track down the killer.
Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like us to share with us?
Is there?
The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-hand-id. I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
Huh? What?
That bellboy, he was wearing gloves.
Gloves?
Yeah, pitch black, leather ones. You know, like murder gloves.
Does Edgeworth know that? I think so.
All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right?
I mean, Edgeworth knows that we're looking for Maya. Yeah, he knows. Black leather gloves. I don't know if he knows that we're trying to draw it out, though.
Why didn't you mention them earlier?
But he could probably figure that out.
Sorry, it slipped my mind.
Ah, boy, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, gotta focus. Can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves.
Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones.
So, a football is made of leather. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they're made of leather?
Good.
But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe that he was just another bellboy.
Ugh. Why isn't my baseball and football argument working here?
It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony.
The rest?
Oh yes, please tell us more.
Okay.
Edging. Hysterical. Edging. Their second meeting.
After leaving Juan Corrita's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and went back to my seat.
So he saw all the important stuff and is just now testifying.
So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, went to the defendant's room.
Yeah. I kinda saw all that by accident.
Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. And all... I'm watching all your autocorrects. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven.
I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
After leaving Juan's room,
After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. Is what you saw while you were busy? Is that what you saw while you were busy spying?
Excuse me. I may be a poor underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying.
Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers?
Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye and a sort of sneaky, spy-like.
I knew he was spying.
Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly?
I love how he actually was spying. That's such a great mental image. He's like peering. Sorry. Anyway.
What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know.
You gave something to the person inside the room. I said, hold it.
Okay.
That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details.
Oh, okay.
I should probably ask him only one question at a time. Press and then ask about one. So who took this something from the bellboy? The bellboy handed off.
Actually, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
Only an arm.
Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face?
Yeah.
Well, it was Mr. Engarde's room, correct? So it could have only been Mr. Engarde himself, I'd say.
And then, what did the bellboy do after that?
Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room the thing.
So I have to press that statement again. And I have to go through to the options and ask him about. Something. He gave something to this person?
Yeah.
And what was the something?
If I remember what it was, I wouldn't be calling it something, would I?
But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you can't really remember that, Mr. Powers?
I think it was something kind of small, like a card with a shell on it.
No, it wasn't that. Because that was in the other room. That was in Juan Carita's room. Left as the calling card. Anyway.
Now, I would like to summarize this testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left this crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm.
Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important?
Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client.
Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was that the bellboy handed off.
Well, let's see. I think it was... no.
If you remember, please add it to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
And then... if I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. A statue?
Yeah, it kind of looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember, you know?
Looks like for this trial to proceed, I'm gonna have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. You're gonna have to trust your instinct on this one and take a chance, Phoenix.
Well, Mr. Powers, please continue with your testimony. What did the bellboy do after that?
We can press for... So at this point I can present and move forward, or we can press on some of the other dialogue, which has been pretty funny, so I kind of want to keep pressing. Where did this bellboy go after he left Mr. Engarde's room?
Well, he opened the door to Viola Hall, went in there, and who knows after that, right?
I do. He went and kidnapped Maya. After that, I went to the bathroom and went back to my seat. Did you see anything strange, suspicious, or out of the ordinary at that time?
Oh yeah, I saw that one thing.
What? He saw something else?
There was this jittery alien with a ray gun. He was watching Juan Carita's door like some sort of stalker.
I think we can forget about the alien. Well, Mr. Powers' testimony just now is just as vague as his first. It's all a little troublesome, isn't it? But I'm sure if you press him enough, everything will become clearer. Although, that just makes it harder on us, doesn't it? Talk about a lose-lose situation. Okay. So the wooden statue is actually this figurine. I don't know how you're supposed to know. Oh, right. You know this because you saw this figurine at Matt's house? Wait, why do we know this? We don't know this. How would you guess this? I'm not sure how we know this as the reader.
What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up.
It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this.
Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breath. Mr. Powers, the something you saw. Was it this item?
Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt and God's mansion. At the defendant's house. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley the killer assassinated one Karita in his room, and then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Ungard's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Your Honor, Mr. Matt Ungard is the killer's client. Order, order, order! I said order! I am really hungry this time. I'm sorry. Mr. Wright, this is most unfortunate. This is a most unfortunate turn of events for you.
Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then when? Then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. Ah, I almost forgot that he knew about it too.
I think it's clear that there is no need for us to continue this trial.
I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please.
Yes, Mr. Wright.
There are still a few points left that have not yet fully been explored.
What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further?
The bear itself, probably? Yeah. That's what it says to do. I think it's obvious that the bear itself is very questionable.
The bear, Mr. Wright?
This was found at Matt Ungard's mansion, Mr. Ungard's mansion. However, Mr. Ungard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home.
Oh.
I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. It is not possible that it was Mr. Ungard who took this bear to his mansion. See, Kaka-san. Yeah. I mean, whatever gets the point across, I guess.
Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, that the defendant would have taken this bear home.
Whew, disaster averted, it looks.
You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for Mr. Ungard to go home later, because we found the bear like 2 days later, right? We could have brought that bear there anytime. Huh?
I remember it. Clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Ungard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape.
I can't believe it. That butler. All this time, he was the killer.
The killer and Ungard were working together, so to speak. And the killer was hiding at an Ungard mansion as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Ungard mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Ungard had him do so. And I assume it was because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation.
So was he holding the bear while he kidnapped Maya? He must have been, right?
Well, Mr. Wright, You've been quiet for a while now.
This is too much! Isn't there anything I can attack at all? I have to try. I have to find something else.
What will you do now, Mr. Wright? Do you plan to...
I plan to expose a clearly shaky piece in Mr. Power's testimony.
What? There's still another one.
There is indeed, Your Honor, and it's a quite questionable point.
What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explore further?
Wait. Person who received the bear. I guess?
There's one thing in Mr. Power's testimony that was very unclear, and that's the identity of the person who received the bear.
You gave something to the person inside the room. No, I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
As long as we don't know who that was who took the bear.
I'm... Is Sugening but getting a Dakota? I'm listening but getting a fajita. Oh, that's much better. Ooh, I could make fajitas tonight.
What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're going to scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why.
Oh, yeah, well, sorry. Actually, so, I remembered. Oh, I remembered who took the bear.
What?
Really?
I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm. It was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear it.
You gotta be kidding!
Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai.
Order, order! It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again.
How many times is that today? I've lost count.
So the person who took this bear, who took in this little bear, was the Nickel Samurai. And, as we all know, Metangard is the Nickel Samurai. Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer. I think we've heard enough. We know now why this bear figurine is at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was who received the bear from the assassin's room. Everything... I think I read that wrong, but anyway, everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt on guard. I see no reason for this trial to continue, therefore I will hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you cannot win against the truth, could you?
I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth.
Any last objections, Mr. Wright?
Well, do I? What should I do?
Hear the verdict or raise an objection? Hear the verdict?
The defense rest, Phoenix. Are you giving up? If you do, Maya will die. And you'll carry that weight on your shoulders every day for the rest of your life.
Froze? Am I frozen? Oh, it froze on your end, it looks like. Things seem to be streaming fine on my side.
I don't want that to happen to you. Mia. Raise an objection, Phoenix.
I will now advance a very...
Objection! There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is this one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at On Guard Mansion. However, it's possible that this is all work of a certain other person.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is the killer's real client.
The real client.
Yes.
Is this all you have? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your testimony. I mean theory, sorry. Who do you say is the killer's real client, and therefore the real murderer?
Miss Adrian Andrews!
Your volume is out. I hate my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I can see my volume's working, so I hate your Wi-Fi too.
Adrian Andrews.
Yes, we already know that she tried to frame Madame Guard for the crime by wearing the spare nickel samurai costume.
Then the nickel samurai's arm that I saw.
That could very well been Miss Andrews.
So, the only thing you missed was that we're trying to blame this on Miss Andrews. Because she wore the costume, so she could have received the bear and then planted it at his house. Which she obviously didn't, but we're trying to stall for time, so we're gonna try to pin it on Miss Andrews again.
But what about Mr. Angard?
If you would please recall yesterday's testimony, the defendant was taking a nap during the break period.
That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. Angard's mansion.
It was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this?
I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Besides which, there's no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. What is with this trial?
Come on, anyone can tell on guard did it.
I can't believe the defense would go so far as to pin the guilt onto someone else. Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty, it's murder of all things.
This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on.
Order, order, order! All disruptive parties will be forced to leave and get me food.
Your Honor, for the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game.
His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear?
He's right. The killer did specially bring that bear to On Guard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it?
Absolutely. I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon the witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews.
And who would that be?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself.
Yay, we get to talk to Adrian Andrews again. Forgot the last part of this trial is really, really freaking long. It gets more interesting though, I swear.
I see. Well, then the court will make a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
March 23rd, 11:54 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3.
Ha ha ha! Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage, don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Andrews.
I swear this demon will pay.
Mr. Nick.
Pearls, where's Mia?
Why is Edgeworth doing this? Well, he has to do his job. He can't just be like,
Your Honor, let's just take like a 20-minute break. How about another 10-minuter? I'm feeling good for a nap, Your Honor.
but like, even at this last part, instead Instead of Edgeworth pushing ahead and being like, no, we have all the evidence we need, he's like, I'm willing to oblige, like, what Phoenix is talking about. He's doing that because he's like, sure, we can keep going, even though we're kind of good to call the verdict. I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away.
A really strong power?
Oh, Mr. Nick, your phone is...
It's from Gumshoe! How's it going? Have you been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. Phew, that's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time! If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. I was only able to come this far because I kept thinking to myself, I gotta keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is all our hope for naught?
A tent? What?
Huh? A tent?
I could see a circus tent.
I could see a circus tent. A tent. I could see a circus tent. Mia! It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. It's locked in a dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent about outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe! Is there a circus in town right now? There was only one, pal. The Big Belly Circus. Maya's somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Hey, draw a circle on that map, about 300-foot radius from the main tent. Holy! And... I can see a mailbox under the window just outside. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Okay, what else? What else, Mia? I'm sorry, but it was a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. Felt like it was an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or so. Hold on, an old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, hang in there. Just a little longer, pal. Wish us luck. Good luck. I'll call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal? Mia's not hurt, right? Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Gumshoe, please hurry. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this, I just have to make this trial last a little longer.
The court will now reconvene.
The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to the client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? And I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. And currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder.
I understand.
Very good. Have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? I know they do have call ID, which is why it was weird that he screamed at Gumshoe earlier.
Of course I have.
You've seen it before.
That's right, it's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court as to this bear's secrets?
Alright.
Why? Why does she know? I don't know. The bear figurine.
Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. You know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. As its center is a small cavity, it's just enough to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it.
That's actually pretty cool.
I've hidden the family heirloom in this weird bear. good luck getting it. Then you hand it off to your ancestors. Okay, anyway.
So this figurine, it's a container of sorts, is it?
Yes, looks like it can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, this is superb craftsmanship. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Looks like there really was something to that bear after all.
The bear figurine. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. A puzzle?
That's right.
But it looks like an ordinary figurine.
True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess that this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is this exactly?
If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time.
So you can take it apart, and how would one go about doing that?
Well, you'd first turn its tail to the right and then push it in.
Oh yes, I see.
After that, the arms and legs are free to move and you can be removed.
Oh, this is most interesting.
A boy and his new toy. It's like he's 5 all over again.
The judge is just playing with it. That's great.
Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on.
I think he's lost it.
So what do you find after you take that puzzle apart?
Find a cat. A screaming cat. A chunky cat. Cute cat.
At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. What's happening? My messenger is like busted. I can't even see what you sent me. What on earth? Did you go offline? No?
What is it, little chunky cat? Meow? What is it, Scooter? Meow? Meow? You're silly.
We go on data now, and even then it's horrid. Oh boy, I wouldn't use data on Twitch. Twitch eats through your data like nothing else. Let's go see what Scoot wants. Oh, you got unlimited data. Oh, okay. My data is like light speed, but it's limited, so I'm gonna go see what Scoot wants.
What do you want, Scoot? You gonna try to pull the cord out? Stop it. Don't try to pull the cord out, silly head. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're so weird. You wanna move so I can stand up? You're like right on my foot.
Okay. Hopefully your data works better for you. Here we go. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. And how do you know about this? Oh, and you probably missed the part the judge was like... Oh, I guess you saw it. The judge kept playing with the toy over and over again. He's like, oh, carry on. Don't mind me. Anyway. How do you know about this?
I know because I was the one who bought it.
Huh?
It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland.
Then this was a present from you.
That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan.
Oh yeah, we still haven't found Celeste Impax's note. So it was a present from Miss Andrews.
Witness, let's continue with your testimony.
Oh, the killer probably found the note and like hid it in there and then delivered it. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. So that nobody else could try to blackmail Matt. Anyway, so who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle?
Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland, so I doubt there are that many people with the same bear in this country.
But this looks like it can be easily broken. Especially if someone wanted to get what's inside.
Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same once it's been broken.
You really can't tell that it was just a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or jewelry box? Oh, you might be able to turn down the resolution on the stream, by the way. If you're looking at it on like your phone or something handheld, turning down the resolution might not change that much. So if it's at a high resolution, you might be able to do that and it won't cut out. I don't know, just a suggestion. I don't actually know how the Twitch app works, so. Yeah, so who else knew that it was actually a small container?
I never told anyone, and as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew.
Oh. The two of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. On Guard didn't know, right? I think this is about all I'm gonna get for now. Only Karita and Andrews know how to open it. Figurine added to the court record.
Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have come to realize that there is one very important fact we have uncovered, and that is this. This bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there's only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside this box?
So he doesn't really have to go down this line of logic, but he's like, yeah, what is it? Let's keep wasting time.
What's inside? That's right. That's what we're going to find out next. Witness?
Yes?
You are the only one who can open this. Please.
There's a painful silence hanging over the courtroom. All eyes are on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle. Wow, that went by really fast. I couldn't finish reading it. Click.
I've opened it. Is this what you wanted?
What is that? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess at what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note.
The suicide note.
The suicide note left by one Karita's former manager, Celeste Impax. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, one Karita himself. It seems Celeste Impax had a very beautiful handwriting, and she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note that she left right before she committed suicide.
Order! Still haven't got my food. Witness, did you know about this?
Yes, I did. I heard about it all from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Because it had already been taken by the killer.
Everything is going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question?
What's written on the note?
That's right. At least, that's what I would think.
Now then, I believe it is only appropriate that the contents of this note be made known.
I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was going to burn it, for her sake.
What is it, Nam?
I think now you might want water.
You want water? No? Outside.
She didn't even want anything. She was just like, hey, walk over to the living room with me. Did Mia admit that Edgeworth is stalling? Not really.
I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud.
Very well. Let me get my reading voice on.
The judge's voice rang out loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Impacts left us a record of all that had happened to her. About being used and then being thrown away by On Guard. About being engaged to Karita and On Guard's role in destroying that. And about how she decided in her despair to end it all. Oh, we don't actually get to read the note. Too sad or something.
And that's all Miss Impacts had to say.
There is one thing I'd like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. On Guard.
Then what?
Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness?
Yes. On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference.
My word! Matt On Guard values above all else is refreshing like a spring breeze image. Which is why we had to stop this note from being made public.
Why he had to.
At any cost!
Found inside figurine tells of On Guard's horrible misdeeds.
It's On Guard's fault that the woman killed herself.
And this time he even went so far as to kill
Someone to stop from revealing that. How terrible, what a selfish person.
I guess there are slimeball lawyers out there who'll defend these creeps too. There is no room for doubt here. Mr. the Killer's client's goal was to establish the suicide note. The only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with a certain note was found in the defendant's house.
How did he know about it?
It seems we have come to the truth at last.
But how did he even know about it?
The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone.
How am I supposed to escape from this one?
Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do.
I know, I have to carry on and buy some more time. Okay, there are two deadly pieces of evidence, the figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of this situation through one of those.
Gavel is already in the judge's hand. Phoenix, hurry.
The suicide note or the figurine? Which one of these should I pursue? Let's talk about the figurine. Please wait, Your Honor.
Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it.
It's like he doesn't care if he's trying to get the killer off the hook. The assassin took with him from the crime scene after murdering Mr. Karita. The assassin took this with him from the crime scene after murdering Mr. Karita. At the request of his client, of course.
So what's your point, Mr. Wright?
I don't think it's possible that Mr. De Killer's client was Matt on guard. In fact, I think there's a contradiction here. You can't tell just by looking at this that this bear is really a jewelry box. The chances that Matt thought the note was inside this bear are 0 to none.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Exactly, but I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. After all, there's no reason why Mr. On Guard would ever want a jewelry box like this.
Order, order, order! You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion?
It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately. I think he believes differently.
I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon himself. I would like to direct the court's attention to this. What is that? This is a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? Like what Will Powers was doing around that corner earlier.
What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession.
Matt and Guard and the victim both thought of their other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And? The victim, when Karita was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt on Guard. Order, order! Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't tell me you knew that your client was spying on people and such.
Well, sort of.
Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you are confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I have the camera that was stuffed in...
But I have the camera that was stuffed in the bear's eye.
But this...
Oh, whoa.
But this camera that I have is not that same one. Last night I searched the victim's house on a hunch. Using this.
Gumshoe's bug sweeper. Why didn't you just get a real one?
By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt on Guard's fingerprints were on there.
Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What am I supposed to say to that evidence?
I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. On Guard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along.
You got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that.
It's actually kind of fun. Hey, now what's that lawyer thinking?
Mommy, is that mean man the bad guy?
Shush, stop, don't look at him. The way he's sweating is just so ew, nasty.
Phoenix. Yes, Chief?
You figured out what you're gonna do next yet?
What I'm gonna do next? Does running away like a frightened child work?
Thank you for the compliment, by the way, I appreciate that. It's fun to try and do that. I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing.
Well, what is it, Mia?
There's a piece of evidence that he clearly should investigate. Really should investigate, sorry.
Something he should investigate?
I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance.
Why are you speaking in riddles all of a sudden?
Because this game is hard for no reason, Phoenix. You're welcome, Black.
Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything.
That's the lady who cuts my hair, or maybe they're probably open now. She goes, Black. She calls me Black.
Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you?
What's this piece of evidence that Mia's talking about? Can I figure out what it is?
Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at, or should I just let it go?
I think it's just time to let Mia die. I mean, Maya.
I have no objections to On Guard getting his guilty sentence as he should.
But I can't let that happen yet. Mia said there's still something worth examining. If she thinks so, then even if I have to force it, I must find something to bring up. I have an objection, Your Honor.
That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Don't you know that we're supposed to slam on the desk, point our fingers, and scream objection?
I know that! Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily.
You are beginning to sound desperate.
That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said?
So you're telling me that I just forgot something?
You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. But there's something you should really examine about this piece of evidence.
It gives me no leads. It gives me no leads as to what this piece of evidence is, by the way. None at all. It's Celeste's suicide note. I don't know how you're supposed to know that, but I have the guide, so.
That is Miss Impax's suicide note, right?
Who knows?
I mean, sure, this suicide note was found inside this bear. But this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago. Which means the handwriting on the suicide note is yet to be analyzed.
Oh.
So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impax or not, this is yet to be even remotely confirmed.
Nope, that's not the part I was referring to.
Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be suggesting.
Mr. Wright, are you saying the suicide note is a fake?
Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Ungard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear?
How dare you!
Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There's no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever.
But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it.
No, it wasn't. The hard part's coming later.
What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle was the witness himself.
Or herself, sorry.
Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Madame Guard.
I did no such thing.
Right, if you're going to pronounce the suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory.
Mr. Edgeworth, you are the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution.
Ugh.
No, the harder part comes later, but that is another part where the game's just like, you have to present a thing. And you're like, what thing? And you just don't know. Yeah, that wasn't it though. It's the harder part's coming up later. Oh boy, this trial is long.
That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on the suicide note? It is as the defense has stated, the handwriting is yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible.
This isn't good, Phoenix.
The judge is going to carry this trial over one more day. I don't think Maya will physically be able to make another day.
I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and the defense further investigate.
Handwriting analysis, my butt. That's just a lawyer trying to buy more time.
Ungard is guilty. Look, it is. Any idiot can tell you that.
I think we've reached the end of this line.
Guilty.
Guilty, 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 oh, guilty, says the crowd. So many people chanting guilty.
What is that sound?
It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe. What is with him? And what's that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened to the killer?
He got away.
What?
I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way I could make it up to you. I really do.
Anyway, what's going on?
We found his hideout, pal, but the two of them were already gone. This is terrible. I'm going to keep looking for them, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little bit more time. But don't tell me we don't have any more.
Guilty, 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 yeah. Guilty.
Do you hear that? They're all calling for his head.
Mr. White, I can't force to come this far and... Oh,
What is it?
let me talk to Mr. Wedgeworth.
I can't do that.
Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after.
Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch!
Mr. Wedgeworth, please, you gotta buy us some more time.
Court is in session. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You're saying? Mr. Wright, this is a court of law.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but
I am reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow.
this time I really can't do anything.
Court is now adjourned for the day. Please wait, Your Honor.
Edgeworth!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I humbly request 30 minutes of Your Honor's time.
For what purpose?
We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time.
But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes?
I believe we can, Your Honor.
But wouldn't it be better if we just adjourned for the day and reconvene tomorrow?
30 minutes, please, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking for.
Please, Your Honor.
Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today.
What? The music just came back because he's like, I won't allow another one. I don't know.
I'm not sure if this is helping or hurting us.
The court will now take its final recess of the day.
Right, well, what's going on with the Maya's situation?
The killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes? We can't find her in that time.
Report!
Ah, is that Mr. Wedgeworth?
We don't have time, just spit it out.
Wait. Looks like we just missed him, so... But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away.
A few things.
Can we use any of them as evidence?
Ho ho ho, I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now, and I'm on my way over.
Really?
That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first.
We don't have time to wait for those guys, so... When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran.
What?
Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I gotta put the law on hold for now.
Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this.
My hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there in about 20 minutes, so... Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me.
Alright, just get here in one piece.
I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, so no one. I'm pulling out of all the stops and one in every red light.
Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that will be decisive enough to end this.
Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me!
No one can stop me.
What happened?
It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well.
What was he thinking? We gotta hurry and call for help.
But we have no idea where he is.
His cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get those items before they do, the police will take possession of them.
No! We can't let that happen!
Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance.
Why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment?
What? Oh, wait, what? Wait, what? I'm not even in court. I can't even lose the game right here. Oh, obviously. That's right, there is a way.
What? How?
I'm sure we can find where Detective Gumshoe is through this.
Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like... No, I see. Try to get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have.
Francisca? Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth.
What is it?
I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death.
Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided.
Yep, nice. You called it.
The verdict.
Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff. There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it's extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do.
Okay. Going up to the last section. So we've been in this trial for hours. I think it started around 9 or 10. We're at 2:35 now.
Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. But, however, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Edgeworth? Looks like something unexpected just happened to him.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of this handwriting analysis on Miss Impax's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that the suicide note is a forgery.
What?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Order, Mr. Edgeworth. Would you care to explain what's going on? This was not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a detailed analysis, however. It appears the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Carida.
Mr. Carida?
Well. It looks like Miss Impax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard.
However, Your Honor, even though the suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so the facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound plausible.
I like Miles too. This theory that On Guard had no idea the suicide note was fake, something seems a little wrong with it. The defense believes the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony.
If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. On Guard to not have known it was a fake.
What's this little item called again?
It's a video camera, Your Honor. Well, a very small one, but...
Oh, that's right, a camera. Ah, yes, you kids and your fancy toys nowadays. I like my jewelry box bears, personally.
Mr. Edgeworth, earlier, you claimed that Mr. On Guard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim, isn't that right? That were true, then this means Mr. On Guard would have known that the victim had forged the note.
No! So then the defendant knew that this suicide note was a fake. If that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way.
Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. On Guard's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air.
But, Your Honor, it was not as if Mr. On Guard monitored Mr. Kurita 24 hours a day.
Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. On Guard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery in an unknown place?
Ugh. Order, order, order! There's so many orders coming in today. Jeez, Mr. Edgeworth. It looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave.
As I figured.
As you figured.
As I figured, it came down to this after all.
Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense.
When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next?
What next?
The prosecution can't prove Mr. On Guard's motive through the evidence. We must prove it from another angle.
Well, I agree with you there.
I know, it is really long. They usually make the last trial really long, so... this is like the last section. I don't think there's any more breaks or anything like that.
Well, I agree with you there.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time.
Oh, well, that's fine.
However, this witness is a little unusual.
Edgeworth stuttering? That's not like him at all.
Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth?
This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley the killer to commit murder.
Yeah, I think it's a good trial. It's a little long in the old tooth or whatever that means, but yeah.
That's impossible! No such person exists who can answer this question with such certainty.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. Who is this witness?
It's
Yes, go on. Who is it?
the man himself, Mr. Shelley the killer.
Oh, Mr. the Killer. Wait, Shelley the Killer? You mean the killer? I mean the assassin.
Yes, Your Honor.
He's coming here, to the witness stand.
Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission.
Well, Mr. Wright.
Yes?
Is this alright with you?
Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defense has no objections, Your Honor.
I wonder if it really is alright to do this.
Very well, then the prosecution calls its witness to the stand.
Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us?
Now then, witness. Your name and your, occupation, please.
Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I am a professional assassin.
I say, what is going on here?
Your Honor.
How can you remain so calm, and what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court.
So this must be what the urgent phone call he got earlier was about.
Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure that it is really Mr. the Killer himself.
Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are, in fact, Shelly the Killer.
I understand. Please wait a second.
I'm so hungry.
Maya!
A voice, Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this?
The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelly the Killer.
It looks as if we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so...
Now then, witness, there is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else.
And what would that be?
At the request of the client, you killed Mr. One Kurita. Is this correct?
It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Kurita.
Gulp.
Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client.
Very well.
This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it. A bad dream.
Shelly the Killer? What's he gonna say?
About my client.
There's something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you may grasp this concept before I give the name of my client.
Mr. the Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us.
Well, he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor. Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He's always stood by this one belief.
You mean about the trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix.
I told you it was gonna get interesting. The ending of this case is so good. I also like doing the killer's voice. There's something I must first state. We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your client's...
I don't think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means?
Sorry, go on.
Well, it appears that this is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright.
That's only because you don't know about my situation.
You have to press the second statement, then his third statement, then his second statement again in order for you to get past this part. What? To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself.
The trust between you and your client?
I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would become quite troublesome.
And that's why you're testifying in this manner.
This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder.
This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. He just said that it's man on guard. What? I guess it could technically be Adrian Andrews, right? Sorry. But he basically just admitted to it. One of these people actually did. Yeah, okay, anyway.
I must preserve the killer name so my client can trust me.
But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust?
It has never happened before, but if it ever did,
Yes?
that person wouldn't be my client for very long.
He said, like, this is the first time my client's ever been accused of murder. That's what he said.
They would certainly.
That's enough. Please, no more.
Very well, it was only a hypothetical anyway.
And that's the reason I'm here today on this witness stand.
That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them.
It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of their prescribed role.
Their role.
This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven.
You. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty?
The gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die?
No, I didn't say anything.
The judge had better watch himself. So, even though I have to go back and press 2 again, I'll press 4 just so we can read the dialogue. The option 4.
We understand, so please tell us the name of your client.
I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things left to say before I do.
This egomaniacal.
It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you.
Somehow, that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. I don't really care about all this extra fluff, just tell us the name already.
Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. And also, we're trying to waste time, so stop trying to rush it, Phoenix. He seemed very steadfast and closed, so you're gonna have to work to get him to talk.
I'm not his therapist, you know. We don't get a therapist on our team until like game 5.
So I have to press 2 again.
The trust between you and your client.
Provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. These are the roles and duties an assassin and his client are to carry out.
I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules.
Person who frames another is the worst kind of human.
And that's why you feel you can betray this person?
I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role.
Just my luck. An assassin with a conscience, who would have figured?
Don't they often use therapists in court? Actually, I have no idea. I could see how that could be useful, but I have no idea if that's really used.
Now then, everyone, do you understand, or do you think you can understand my logic?
This case just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Oh, you're on your computer now.
If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed.
I hope your internet works well enough with that.
Everyone understands your point, I think. Really.
In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek.
You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready.
Excellent. And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand.
Oh, now he added this. Now then,
I do believe it's about time I revealed the name of my client. Don't you agree?
What is it?
Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name.
If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness! What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Juan Corrida?
That person's name is...
I feel like Shelly is like Kitboga. Because he's so private and like secure and stuff. Professional assassin. Oh, just taking his time? Yeah.
Adrian Andrews.
What? Rue?
Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier.
Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it's Adrian Andrews.
What? This can't be. On the phone earlier.
What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. the Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back? Sure, in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer told him a different name. Matt on guard, perhaps. He knew it.
This is outrageous. I was deceived. I listened to you, Mr. Shelley the Killer, professional assassin. Why couldn't I trust you? This witness is telling a very serious lie.
But you were the one who summoned this witness.
You, Shelley the Killer?
My testimony is the truth. The defendant at this moment is Matt on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal.
Wow. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah.
The prosecution has failed to provide a motive, and has instead provided this suicide note, which was a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility that the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. the Killer's client, who requested the murder, was not the defendant at all.
No.
With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt on guard is innocent.
Seems I have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict.
Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately.
What now? With the way this is going, On Guard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And On Guard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this?
Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant?
Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the Killer is certainly lying under oath.
It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was all one big lie.
Miss Andrews.
The suicide note may have been a big fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world.
He was twisted too, remember?
That testimony just now, you have to believe me, it was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. the Killer himself has testified, and we trust him because he's an assassin who won't show his face. Very trustworthy, in my estimation. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. No, it is true, he did name you. Also, there's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and the button, donning the nickel samurai costume, Celeste in packs, the fake note, knowing about how to open the bear. Okay. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste Impacts was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say that you have plenty of reason to want both of them dead.
That's true. That's actually true.
No, Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story. Who the real killer is. Tell them. Please help me.
Yes, I know the truth.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions.
I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do?
You said be right back, and I don't want to keep going until you're here. This is a terrible time to leave. I'm sure you have good reason, though. Your Honor, I would like you to say something.
Your Honor, the defense requests that... It's no use. I can't. It feels like I've lost my voice.
Phoenix,
Can't do it, Mia. I can't accept I'm not guilty.
you're a liar.
I know. But Madame Guard is a killer, a murderer. Also, hopefully nobody heard me say that. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I'm no better than on guard. Even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it's because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth.
Dang, I don't want to go too much further. Come on. Katie, come back. I don't want you to miss this part.
He could have gotten on guards convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances.
Well, I mean, he kept pushing you and you had to push back, so. But anyway.
If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust.
His trust? This is the part where he realizes that Edgeworth is a good guy.
I never thought about it until now. I trust him?
Dang it, Katie. This is an important plot character development moment. Good stuff.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Wright, your opinion, please.
The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer.
His thumb's kind of down there. Okay, you missed something really important. So let me just back up just a bit. The judge is like, what should we do, Phoenix or whatever? And then I was like, give us the verdict or whatever. And Phoenix is like, I can't bring myself to say it. Edgeworth could have got the Madame Guard convicted so many times already. But he didn't, and he kept the trial going. And he was like, if I ask for a verdict now, would betray his trust. And then Phoenix goes, wait a second, I trust him? And Maya's like, yes, you do. And he's like, I can't betray that trust. So now he's like, I request that we further be allowed to question Mr. DeKiller, as opposed to ending the trial. A beautiful little character moment.
Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright?
Right.
But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done.
I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth, that is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at. And I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur.
Very well. The trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please reestablish connection with Mr. DeKiller.
Right away, Your Honor.
Has a verdict been reached?
And before that, we would like to talk to you a little more.
About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for?
Well, actually, I'd like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done.
What is he talking about, usually done?
But what shall we have him testify about now?
Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail.
You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder why no one likes to go to court?
I also like how the knob and the little red dial thing work as kind of like his eyes, and then the little bottom part is like a mouth. I love that. Got my client part too. See, his mouth is like moving, basically, when he's talking.
As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of a crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the beginning that Juan Carita was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said the client had broken my rules.
Kind of looks like him too, with a zipper being like a seam down the middle. Oh, that's true, yeah.
This is a most unexpected turn of events for the, 5th time now? I don't know. However, this time everything has been finally revealed.
Just a second, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
We still have the cross-examination to do.
But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, the defense will question the witness, as if I have a choice here.
Huh? Why? What has this witness said? Sorry. What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then
I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose.
I don't understand what's going on anymore.
That makes two of us. Just the two of us. Come on, everybody, let's have a musical number here. Just gotta fill in the time. We can make it on our own.
Okay. As I've already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client, however.
What is it, Mr. Wright?
If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicion on his end, but I have to do something to waste more time. Witness, about requesting a hit.
Yes.
How much is your fee?
I see you are also quite a dark-hearted human, Mr. Attorney.
Huh?
If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial.
No, I'm not thinking of...
Mr. Wright!
Yes?
You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you?
What? Why would you think something like that? You're on...
Guilty. Mr. Phoenix Wright, you are hereby declared guilty.
Witness, and let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not?
One thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of a crime. I would think that most... Oh, sorry, I got a little too close there. I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill.
If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job.
Yeah, well, a change in occupation might be good for you.
However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party, other than the part where I kill them.
That goes without saying, Mr. DeKiller, kind of. Except for the part where you kill them.
And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought that they could run away from their guilt.
My client did it to frame another for the crime. Are you talking about the button and knife?
Yes, and my business card.
Oh, this card.
So that no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make it a point to bring things as easy as possible.
Sorry, to make things as easy as possible.
You try to make things easy.
My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service.
I like doing his voice too. He's pretty devoted to his work.
But to disregard everything, to go and stab the deceased with a knife, and to even hide my card from sight, that is something I cannot overlook.
It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such things?
That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan out for your alibi too.
No, I already told you. I have no intention of using your services ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? The judge just glares at him. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carrito was dead. From the very beginning?
That is correct. From before my client visited the room, all my clients know precisely the situation, what precisely the situation is at all times.
I wonder if that's really true.
That's odd.
But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button.
So why do you think your client did that?
What do you mean by why?
Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky. And why would someone who has requested a murder go to the crime scene anyway?
That is true.
I assume it was probably done to frame Mr. On Guard.
If that's the case, then why didn't the person just request that you do it?
Sadly, that is not possible.
Huh?
My job is to kill, that is all, and to leave my business card behind, naturally.
Oh, he doesn't frame people. He always lets them know, that's right.
The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone else up to take your fall.
That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. And that's all you have to testify?
Yes, and I pray that I will never be called to the stand again.
Again? As in you plan to continue?
I must, as I have yet to find a person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney?
Excuse me? No, I'm fine, really.
Are you really now?
I wonder what kind of man the judge thinks I am now. What are you gonna do now, Phoenix? All I can do now is expose the lies. That's true. However, you realize that it will be very bad for our client, right? I'm so confused. So DeKiller always lets the police know that he did it by leaving his calling card behind. So what he's trying to say is that it's Adrian Andrews because she tampered with the scene of the crime, and tried to frame Matt on guard with his murder. But he's saying he doesn't ever do that. He doesn't frame people for murder. He just kills them and lets people know that he did it, so that they don't have to do a bunch of investigation or whatever. He just like, he wants people to know. Like it makes his it probably makes his next killing easier, because then people are like, oh, like, or like his clients will want to contact him more. The more notable his name is. I don't know. Anyway. But the one thing I know for sure is I can't let this trial end yet. Oh yeah, he lied, yeah. He can lie as much as he wants though, so. Alright, so. I'm gonna present the wine glass because Adrian Andrews poured tomato juice and that was weird or whatever. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. De Killer.
What is the meaning of that attitude?
When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea Juan Carita had been murdered.
But how do you know that?
From this wine glass, Your Honor.
The glass.
Mr. De Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Carita had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim.
But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan?
He lied about who his client was. Yep, because he has to protect his client. His real client. That is not possible, Your Honor. To fulfill his bargain, he has to protect his real client. Because his real client has to get away with it, right? So that, which is kind of weird for Shelley, because if he's like, oh, Adrian Andrews did it, and she goes to jail, then he's kind of telling people, oh, but I guess then he's saying, oh, she broke her trust, though. She broke his trust. So this is what happens to people who break my trust. I rat him out. That's what he's trying to say. So he's trying to put himself in like a win-win position. So he either says, this is the person who did it, and rats him out, like for Adrian Andrews, and then people are like, oh, okay, we won't double-cross you next, when we hire you. But at the same time, he's protecting Matt on guard, who really did hire the hitman, because that's his real client, and that's like his end of the bargain. He's supposed to take the blame and just get away with it, and his client goes free. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind.
I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion?
Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon?
Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct?
I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Carita's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all.
How strange.
Yes.
Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation?
Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in a real trouble. Yeah, I know. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised! You know you can't say things like that without any evidence.
Oh, sorry.
Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you.
Anyway, I'm positive there's a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken.
Very well.
Right now I have to buy us more time, while we wait for the items Mr. De Killer left behind to get here. I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Except Gumshoe got in a car accident, and we don't know what happened to him, except we tried to call Francisca or whatever. Request taking.
This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request from my services on the night of the award ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes.
So you physically met your client, huh?
That is correct. Meeting one client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion.
Meeting one's client.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Request taking. This request came to me, about a week ago. 1 week ago? Are you sure?
Yes, I am quite sure. I, of course, had my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you will keep that in mind.
Please, stop.
In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind.
A specific date and time?
Did Shelly cause the accident?
Oh no, Gumshoe was like, I'm gonna run every red light, pal, and then he immediately got in an accident.
Shelly didn't do that. That was just Gumshoe being dumb.
It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony.
Oops, I'm reading it in his voice. It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony.
Did you ask why on that specific night?
No. I tried to fulfill all the conditions of my client's request, but as for why, I only had my suspicions.
Your suspicions, huh? So what are these suspicions you had? Why did your client request that night?
I'm sure it was all for the bear.
The bear?
My client spoke a bit. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in Juan Carita's room. I would like you to retrieve that item for me.
You must be talking about this bear puzzle.
Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose its contents at the press conference, after all.
That is correct. And if I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where that bear figurine was.
I see.
Well, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now of any importance?
Press third statement. It'd say it's not important. I'd say it's very important. What? Particular sounds plausible, but in the end it's just conjecture.
No, Your Honor, I don't think it was very important.
Well then, witness, please continue.
Whoa, this is weird. I'm not sure exactly how to follow the guide on this one. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters.
So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right?
Of course I did.
What was that? What was with the brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details.
I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken a request by telephone or mail. However, you can reach me at shelly.daykiller@yahoo.com.
And why is that?
That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak with the client while looking them in the eye.
Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony now of any importance?
I think he just asked us of everything. Oops. I meant to say it's not important.
If Mr. DeKiller met his client for the murder, then it's unlikely he's mistaken.
So you're saying his client really was Adrian Andrews?
I guess so.
You see, it's just as I said.
I'm so lost. Who the heck am I supposed to be helping here? Calm down, Phoenix. Think carefully and relax.
Now then, will the witness please continue? Okay. So what I'm supposed to do is press this. And then I say press further. And then I say it's not important.
Why he meets with his client is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions.
What do you mean by that?
My question is, why did you meet with Adrian Andrews in person?
Why did you really meet? Or did you meet with Adrian Andrews in person?
I have already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. That's when I thought I can trust this person as a client.
It's true that they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance?
If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance.
Huh, really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony.
Very well.
From the moment I saw him, I thought I can trust this person as a client. I pressed the wrong button. Whoops! I didn't actually know that that button presented evidence. I pressed the start button and it presented evidence. Or the plus button, I guess. That's my bad. Wait, what? Oh, it's not. Maybe I just accidentally... Huh. Maybe I just accidentally did it. Oh my gosh, they're two different people. Whoa. Oops. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time?
Yes, that is correct.
And that's when you thought he was trustworthy.
How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct.
I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale.
What?
Shelley the Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews.
Why would you say that?
Because you made one very big slip-up. About her.
So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her?
If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look at her would have told you that she's a woman.
Oh!
Order! Order in the court, Mr. Wright! What is the meaning of this?
This witness testified to the following, that he always meets face-to-face with his clients when he's taking their request.
But he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. the Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews.
Well, you see... Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake?
I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor.
Her name?
Yes, Adrian Andrews is, without a doubt, a very androgynous name.
Yes, I see.
Unlucky for Mr. the Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one has stated Adrian Andrews' gender. Also, he simply picked the wrong gender to go with.
And so...
What? What is going on? Shelley the Killer, this court demands an explanation.
I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another...
And so does that mean you remember something different now?
Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more.
I know he's just gonna spit out more lies, which is good because you're wasting time.
Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay. This is it. This is the big finale. Here we go.
Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man.
So you took this letter later, or took this, wow, so you took this job through a letter.
He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he is definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know, I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me, no matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it.
Now then, let's begin the cross-examination.
Yes, now I remember, I took that request by mail. But didn't you just say that you always meet your clients?
Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible.
But didn't you meet your client this time?
No, I did not.
Oh, come now. Let's stop with this game of cat and mouse.
Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me.
Thank you, and also, all right then, just cough it up and confess.
Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. De Killer met with his client?
What? I don't have proof, so that's a trap. Sorry, Your Honor, unfortunately I don't have any proof.
I see. Then your line of questioning was just another waste of time. Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of right and wrong.
I mean, it's spelled right, as in Mr. Right. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. And why could you not meet with this certain clients?
Recently, I have been receiving more requests. If I met with each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities.
Nice business opportunities.
On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? Well, I have joined the times, and now I take requests via electronic mail.
Electronic mail. Do you have to mail that to in a special insulated envelope?
I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as email.
Email?
Oh wow. Sorry, I read you saying Phoenix's voice is far from silky, and I read the word Phoenix, which made me say it in his voice.
Email.
In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot, hands down.
Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client, and...
The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and two or three other small things.
2 or 3 other things?
Yes.
And what were these other things?
A few other things have nothing to do with this case.
What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. Press further! Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes?
everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client?
Look, he's mad.
That's...
I smell the stench of a backstabber, and should you turn out to be one,
Wait! Uh-oh, this is looking really bad! I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were.
if it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine.
The bear figurine?
After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was as important as the actual killing.
And where was that figurine?
It was inside Mr. Carita's suitcase.
And then what did you do next?
I handed it over to my client right away.
You gave it to your client. Interesting.
This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you have stated in your testimony.
As you wish. That's a Princess Bride reference, by the way. Even I like that movie.
One of these was to find a bear figurine. and to give it to Adrian Andrews. But you didn't know what Adrian Andrews looked like, because you never met her, so you said earlier in your testimony. Oh boy. I found this figurine at Mr. Enguarde's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there?
I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan to frame Mr. Engarde, I'm sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this piece of testimony?
There's a contradiction. So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know somewhere in the statement there's a contradiction. And yet, I know that if I present something trivial here, he'll cut the connection on his end. You want to make a strong point, Phoenix. You have to present strong evidence. She's right. What do I do now, Dr. Wright? He calls himself a doctor in his own head? Let's present some evidence. Witness, let's go over this one more time. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine. And she told you to take the bear and wait for her at Enguarde's mansion. Is that correct?
Yes. What is it?
Oh, I skipped it. He said something like, well, what is this? Or something like that. Well, I think you might have remembered a few things incorrectly.
What?
This is a battle of wits. I can't let up on him. I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. This is the suicide note. That's what it says for me to present. Shelley to killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it.
This item.
I see where you're going.
Yep, that's where I'm going.
Where's everybody going? Do I need to pack a suitcase?
Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. I was going to burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Do they? I thought lawyers had the equivalent of a master's degree. Could be wrong. Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I think I asked that lawyer guy who was in my Engineering 101 class about this. And he was like, yeah, technically I'm a doctor or something like that.
Order. So that's where you two were going. And so by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client.
Oh no.
Order!
Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement.
No, I didn't make it a suitcase thing. The judge actually said that. No, that's not...
That's enough. If that's your intention, then there is only one thing for me to do.
Wait, please!
Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have to go kill a spirit medium girl. I have a matter that I must attend to.
No, please! Not that! Please wait!
Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand otherwise.
Ah!
What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should,
Edgeworth, we can't do this. We keep this up. Maya, she'll...
No. The prosecution, What has come over everyone? Even you are. The prosecution rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that's the case, then, even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. DeKeller's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley DeKeller's client is Adrian Andrews.
I'm answering you as soon as I see him, which is pretty much right as soon as I see him, I think. Like, as soon as you type him up. But there's like a big lag time.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor.
if I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt on guard, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder.
Miss Andrews would be charged with murder.
The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt on guard, to the stand.
The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out.
I can't believe it.
The outcome now lies in your hands.
Dude, did the old guy finally decide?
To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent.
Huh.
So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out.
Mr. On guard,
What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this.
and that refreshing like a spring breeze crap. It's just as atrocious, wouldn't you agree?
Bum 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 bum. I don't know how far behind you were. Could have waited for you a little bit so you could catch up. The judge is talking to On Guard and saying, "I can't think of you as a good person after what you did," and he like revealed as like being like the evil wine swirling guy. But he's like, "But I can't charge you for murder."
Anyway, let's get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer?
Should I side with justice? Or should I save Maya's life?
I must have missed a lot. Oh, maybe?
You'd better get On Guard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that...
I heard the judge last say we have to take Shelley's word on it. Wait, what? Wait. What? Wasn't that like a half hour ago? No, because you saw the Adrian Andrews hymn thing. His voice is far from silky. There was the whole, where are you going with this thing? Okay, let me step back a bit. So we presented the suicide note. I know it couldn't have been. So I'm like, whoa. So we presented the suicide note and said, if you had handed this bear to Adrian Andrews as your client, then she would have burned the suicide note and it wouldn't have been in the bear anymore. So clearly she couldn't have been your client. And he was like, oh, Phoenix, you're betraying me, are you? And he's like, I'm gonna have to kill Maya now. And Phoenix is like, no, that's not it. No. And he was like, then you better bring this to a very quick end. And I may stay my hand or whatever. So then they brought Madame Guard up onto the stand. And the judge was like, I can't think of you as a good person anymore. And he was like, now you know it's my real me, blah, something like that. Anyway. So anyways, that's where we are. I did that. Maya will die.
But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as the murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is innocent.
There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer's going to say what I want, aren't you?
Right?
I can't do this, but I have to decide something.
Is this the part where you're like, you look like an evil Peter Parker? Where am I right now? I am right. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah. I remember this part. This is crazy.
I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Listen to the beat. Listen to the rhythm of the street. My client, Madame Guard, is not guilty. Guilty.
We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ungard, your client deserves an answer.
Maya, I'm sorry. Madame Guard is... Franziska von Karma?
I was playing Edgeworth's theme song for some reason. Ow! You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off of that scruffy fool.
Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them?
You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about Mr. Scruffy. He's fine and his injuries are minor. All the items are inside his coat.
What is that filthy old coat?
That's Gumshoe's. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere.
I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in.
I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what's inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence.
Your final evidence. This trial is already over. All that remains for me is to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial.
You can choose either option, by the way, because he doesn't answer. And then Franziska busts in.
What?
Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please.
These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police.
He must have been in quite a rush.
Yes, Your Honor. The killer had left 3 pieces of evidence.
Somewhere among this evidence we're about to see, there will be something that turns this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That's all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case?
Well, it shot her in the shoulder, that's for sure. Well, shot. Oh.
Question for more details. Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say that for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me.
That's the pistol he used to shoot you, isn't it?
That's what I believe, yes. Oh! I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento.
You probably couldn't actually keep it. It would be in evidence, I think.
I'm sure it'll be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Francisca. I want to try that sometime. It's probably not going to help us very much.
Small caliber pistol is thought to have been fired by a killer at Francisca.
The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from Unguard Mansion. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Fortunately, there's no time to. Oh yeah, but I would speculate that this tape is very important.
Why would you say that?
Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 officers on the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. One of them was Meekin, so basically like 2 officers were hurt. Surely the killer is no ordinary man. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? Was that used during the crime? I'm almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in either one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it, the killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform.
And what is that?
There's a button missing on this uniform.
The button?
It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue.
Bellboy's uniform added to the court record.
That's all I have to present, Your Honor.
It's just as I thought.
And what is that, Your Honor?
I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these items do not tell us anything about that.
Except you didn't watch the tape and you didn't find the button and...
Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now.
Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence.
Overruled. This court has already had all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict.
Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he?
Is this the end?
Phoenix.
I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there?
I think you're wrong, Phoenix. Do you not see that a spirit is standing in front of you? But anyway, I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now.
But no matter how you think about it, it's...
Try, for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us.
2?
The first. Make Guard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict.
Huh?
The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Guard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go.
That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible.
The second way. Force the killer to end his contract with Guard. If the killer were to no longer think of Guard as his client, then he would let Maya go.
Mia, that's even more impossible. He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else.
I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle.
The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them.
Phoenix, I think things through from the other side. Isn't that what's always worked from us?
The other side? Wait, does she mean...
But the job was already done. How can he deny him as a client? Matt's still his client because he's still defending Matt in court. The killer doesn't want his clients to get blamed for the killing, otherwise his assassination sort of fails. Like, people wouldn't hire him, right? So Matt is still his client until he's freed, basically.
You mean to turn things around?
Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it?
The person who needs the evidence?
The defense, prosecution, and the judge, we have all seen the pieces of evidence, and that's how we have come to know the truth. But there's one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end.
There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict.
Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids?
I have already told you, Mr. Wright.
Okay. So...
This court does not need any more evidence.
I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor.
Then you want to show the evidence to that person?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is the part that is so difficult. Because they're literally like, make a miracle happen. So, there are two endings to this case. I think this is the only case in the whole series that has two endings. I'm going to get the bad ending first, and then I'll get the good ending. Wait, let's see here. Get the alternate. Wait, what? Wait, how many bad endings are there? Is there two bad endings? Can I guess what it is? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Please, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance.
One chance.
Please show your evidence to the person you think is the right. Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person.
That's impossible to turn the situation around in one try.
Yeah, I know, right?
One try, that is all I will permit.
I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think! There must be a way to save Maya while taking on guard down at the same time.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show the evidence to?
Okay. So we're gonna do the wrong one. We're gonna show it to my badge!
I see. And now tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person.
My badge!
Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't have anything to say to this.
How about you, Miss Von Karma?
Well, it was just a shot, so...
I'm afraid I cannot allow the defense to continue.
What?
No one understands what you are talking about anymore.
Wait, please, one more chance.
That is enough, Mr. Wright. I will now state my verdict. The court finds the defendant, Matt Ungard, not guilty.
Yay, we did it. Kind of. So yeah, this is the bad end.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
And just like that, the case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. I never saw Maya again. The killer is a man of his word, so I'm sure he released her as promised. There should be a typo in here, unless they fixed it. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. I didn't see it, so maybe they fixed it. Phoenix, right? Famous typo. Typo. The miracle never happened. One particularly well-known mistake was corrected. The miracle never happened was changed to the miracle never happened. Okay. Alright, so now... Please, Your Honor. We'll grant you one chance. It's impossible to turn it around in one try. One try, it's all I'll permit. The miracle never changed. No. No. Okay. So do you want to guess who you would show the evidence to? So you, basically what you're doing right here is you're doing two things. You're saying that you want to show a piece of evidence to a person. So you have to guess the person and then the evidence. Well, okay, so the judge isn't in here as a person you can present the evidence to, so no, it's not the judge. And no, people are not evidence. You are showing a piece of evidence to a person. So you're gonna be like, I'm gonna show the suicide note to Celeste Impacts. She's dead, so I mean, it's probably wrong. This is the ludicrously hard part. So they have hinted at this. I can give you a big hint if you want it, but it will still be really hard even with a big hint. Oh yeah, you want to see the evidence? Sure. Radio transceiver, Robota's camera. So the hint will be basically telling you who the person is. If that's okay. Alright, so the hint is
Mia told us that we have to do one of two things: either make Matt on Guard wish he was in jail, or break the client relationship between him and the killer. So what we do in this part of the game, in this impossible sequence, is we have to break his we have to break the trust between On Guard and the killer. So you have to show the killer something that is going to make him distrust Matt. Yeah, it's Shelly. So it is Shelly. Not John Doe, even though it's literally the same person. They'd throw that in there too, just to screw with you, I guess. I don't know.
I see. And now, tell the court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person.
Something in here has to break his trust. Going too fast. There's so much evidence, it's like hard not to... I'm just curious what your guess is. No, you're actually wrong. Let me go. Wish there wasn't such a delay on the chat, too. So knowing it's the last three, they did give us some hints about what it is. Yeah, it's the latest three. How far behind is this chat? Oh boy. You want me to just tell you, or move forward? It's not easy. I'm not even sure how clear it is. They've only dropped a couple of hints. Yes, it's the videotape. The killer violently tried to recover it, so there's something important on there. Possibly something that implicates him.
Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness.
Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier.
Alright, looks like I managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right?
Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence.
How can he even see a videotape? Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back.
That was most regrettable.
But you see how that's like super difficult to pair 2 pieces of evidence to create a miracle?
However, it was an order from my client.
And so you keep losing and seeing that miracle never happen over and over again. Anyway.
However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape.
I thought so.
I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard.
Do you know the contents of this tape?
I was sternly told by my client not to watch it. So I have absolutely no idea.
Actually, you are on this tape.
Me.
There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded.
What?
Is that true, Mr. Wright?
Who is it that planted a camera?
Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally.
That was Adrian Andrews.
Be quiet and listen, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right?
Yes.
That's so they could film you.
I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why.
Why did Madame Guard film the crime scene? The reason why he did that is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. So even after pairing those 2, there's still a few things you have to go through. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said.
But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay, even blackmail him if I want.
Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelly the Killer?
Oh. It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning.
Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client.
I have one question for you, the witness.
Yes.
You told us one thing numerous times in your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all.
Yes, that's right.
But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then?
That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then that client would become my next target.
To protect the world from devastation.
For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment.
I see. That's all I wanted to know.
So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around.
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
my contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item.
What the? I am not an item! Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness!
This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am sort of... I don't quite know what just happened with the client and the witness and the guy. Miss Von Karma, where did that...
And she always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time for us to hand down the verdict.
Mr. On Guard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy.
But before that, I'd like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watched this video.
Help me!
Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please.
I love that ending. Like, oh, by the way, Matt, you have an assassin that's trying to kill you now. How does that make you feel?
Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright?
We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there's no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. Let's get... Mao Rao? Choose either option, it says. So, I'm going to choose not guilty because it says I can do that. Congratulations, Mr. Matt on Guard. Please make sure to savor every moment of what little time you have left. Your Honor, as always, the defense pleads not guilty.
Very well. This court finds the defendant, Matt on Guard. Please wait. What's the matter? If I get a not guilty, I'll be killed. No! Guilty! As always, it looks like we haven't uncovered the real truth.
I don't remember you helping out much in this.
Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on Guard?
I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now.
Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness?
Yes, I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair.
She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did.
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. And if you're going to say you would choose death, that is no concern to me.
But after that, when I was alone in the detention center, this is the first time I really saw myself for who I am.
And today,
When the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved.
She must have been talking about Danganronpa because despair. Or should I say despair? Oh!
Wow, this is the first time I've seen her smile.
I'm really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am.
Oh yeah, there are. Whoa, did I just drop frames? Nami, you pulled the cord out! Are you kidding me? You jerk! What a jerk. No, stay away from the cord. Stop it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned.
You're great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You got them a guilty verdict this time, but you have to look past all that to what's really important. You now realize that there's something more than just getting a not guilty, right?
Yes, I understand now. Stay away from that cord. I'm like blocking her from it.
Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moment before Visan Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter.
I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Listen to the beat. Listen to the rhythm. Listen to the rhythm of the street. Should I say justice or should I say Maya's life? You could get with this or you could get with that. My client, Matt on guard, is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then, and your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. I said guilty, I think.
Right! Edgeworth! I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody.
Really?
Pearls!
You're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, she is quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car.
Ah, Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya's safe. You did it. You really did it, Mr. Nick.
Ow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid.
I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Wah.
Thanks.
Oh,
What's wrong?
Miss Von Karma.
Can you back off the cord? Thank you.
About earlier, thanks. Ow! Why are you still smiling? Mr. Phoenix Wright. You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still as happy.
I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma.
How dare you?
Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that until...
Hey, back off the cord! Stop it.
She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth. For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts, I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless.
Step off. Step off. Just back up like 2 feet, okay? Of this specific area. You can go anywhere else you want. Just stop trying to pull the cord out.
But the man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me.
I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. And I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. I mean, actually, we stand, but
Oh, I guess there is a chair back there. At least they show that in like the movies and stuff.
and I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death.
As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die.
I beat you, by the way, Karma, just so you know. Just so you know.
But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was that moment of clarity that everything began to change.
What foolish nonsense.
We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so, no matter how desperate this situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well.
What? You trusted your enemy?
Doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses, the truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have. Erasing the paradoxes one by one is never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch. But we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you.
The truth.
Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, right? That's why you couldn't forgive me, this man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night.
Ah, is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick?
You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me. All those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool.
Miss Von Karma.
I don't want to hear these wretched whimperings of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Francisca threw something on the ground just now.
This is an electromagnetic receiver.
Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe?
I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else.
Ah, isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip?
I'll never set foot in courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right?
Okay. Nick! You little squeaky kitty. Well, all of Von Karma's have a bad track record as of now, so, yep. Maya!
Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya!
Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here.
Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost to Pearly.
Is it really easy to do something like that?
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Don't mention it.
Maya,
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth.
I'm relieved you're alright.
Hey, it looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago.
Eh. Oh no. Alright, I think it's time we go out of this depressing place.
Huh? Where are we going?
Food, Nick! Food! Grub! Chow, I'm starved! I'm so hungry! You even look nice. Juicy burger on a bun to... You look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick!
You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib at least.
Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please.
If you insist.
Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint?
Don't be silly, Nick!
Huh?
This case messed up that awesome evening and I got in the way of my gourmet food.
Oh yeah, she got snatched away from the gourmet food at the hotel.
So I've decided that we have to make it up by having another feast.
Another feast?
Come on, Nick! Food!
Hey, pal, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Sorry to show up in the nude like this. I don't know where my coat is.
Gumshoe, are you alright?
Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things.
A telephone pole? Then it wasn't a red light that got him.
Y'all did it again, city boy.
And I feel like my dear old heart gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking.
Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of the Steel Samurai.
Thanks.
Now look at here, Mr. Snoot Prosecutor. Don't y'all reckon Billy on Mr. Rat too hard, Kate? Y'all start being a little bit nice to him, you might just kick it. Tonight even.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, come on now. Everybody gather around. Y'all gonna get...
Did you just sneeze? Yammy's sneezing.
You okay, bud? A little pat on the back? You sneezy kitty? Y'all getting your picture taken by a professional photographer?
Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera, even though I can just give her one right now.
Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's chow down, pal.
Amen to that, pal. Amen.
You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective.
Huh, me? You really think so?
He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending.
Ah, well, you know, it's... Huh. Wait. That's odd. When I went off with things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, so...
What?
4?
Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket.
There was a 4th item?
Oh, come on now. It's over. Oh boy, I tell you, y'all something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped. Never done one with you, huh? Huh, you think?
Why does she look so happy about that?
But being shut away for 2 whole days. Weren't you scared?
Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off of things, I drew a picture.
Sound like y'all had it rough, gal. So where's this picture of yours?
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture.
You know, I don't know where it went.
Ah, that's too bad.
Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway.
It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. What is it, Edgeworth?
This thing is picking something up.
Ah, that's Miss Von Kalmer's placebo. Oh, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, so. Can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me.
That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location.
Oh, it's probably busted or something, so.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. And I still have some work to do.
Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten anything yet. And you've eaten way too much, you glutton.
And I had fun tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Wait,
What?
I just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there.
If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right?
I feel like words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel.
So this is how you get the good ending. I don't actually know what happens if you don't. Wait, is there a good ending, a real ending, and a... I don't know. I'm just gonna do it.
What's this?
Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You and her.
You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job.
It looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya.
Yes, Pearly?
I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean.
Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me.
Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party?
As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill.
Huh? Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There, got this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow for $3,000.
What?
And actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's all on your tab and all.
Isn't this great, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Oh, you don't need to hold back now, you hear?
Yeah, pal, time to let it all out.
This is going to be the first time I hear the real you.
Go on, it's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy at being a hostage and all. Alright then, if you say so.
Freaking Lotta puts a $3,000 camera on his tab.
You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro.
I'm so happy that you could save Mystic Maya, Mr. Nick, and I'm so happy for the two of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners, so I sort of made reservations for the two of you just in case.
Well, pal, looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Wedgeworth had a long talk with the chief, and he got me reinstated for my sake. I heard he said things like, letting that one go is bad for all of society. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal.
I don't need to see Old Bag, and I don't need to see Lotta, but they will show up. Because screw me, right? What? Meggy Bird. I don't remember her.
Hey, Mickey Bird, I'm retiring from this uniform as today, sir. I don't remember her voice. I'm going to be waitress from now on.
Yep, you sure will be.
And bring smile and joy to other people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright.
Something like that.
Yes. Are you here to visit a patient? Yeah. Director Hody. Recently, yes, that girl, you know. I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember if I even laid so much as an eye on her, it would go crack. Didn't matter if I got whipped, though. Yes. Oh.
I know, I hate Hody.
It's time to begin our quest to World Circus domination, sweetie. And then we know people are serious to take this fight to Zimbabwe. Wow, it went fast. Hey, Mix, what did you think of Zimbabwe? I don't remember her voice. You think your castle is made of cake and bunnies and who can talk? And oh my gosh. I think if there are any talking bunnies, they won't laugh. Even they won't laugh at Moe's jokes. Ah, sweeties, and fabulous.
It's hard for me to recall these voices super quick.
I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm gonna be more contemporary with my humor. Mo Curls represent.
We've got our new act all worked out. Prepare the Hallelujah Chorus. Say something, will ya? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it.
Well, I don't know about that, Ben. Or Trilo.
What's this? Drat, it's an ordinary electric razor recharging on its stand. I can't believe this, really. How long do they plan on making me do this?
Oh, she's still searching.
It's Reggie Pooh's idea, so it must have a deep hidden meaning. But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they? I was never like this in the old days. Everyone thought the world of me. They used to call me Queen Wendy, and they treat me like royalty. Anything I hadn't heard about, and a pain in my heels, and I come to feel my burns, and speaking of the birds of the fire, and because of this warehouse, there's everywhere starting the scenery, the dash is a huge stink.
I appreciated everything you and Mr. Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. Oh, that's right. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said that after I get out, I should feel free to consult her about anything at all. I'm really thankful to have met everyone.
It has become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. We both be blessed with longevity. See you in Game 5. Actually, that's not canon, but it is in Blake's head canon. But it's not real.
March 23rd, 9 something p.m. Oops.
Where are you going, Francisca?
How did you know I was here?
With this.
I heard.
Whoa. He's not in the 5th game now.
What, you little chunk monkey? I will help you out in a moment, okay?
And I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example.
That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy, drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage, but it's going in the trash, I promise you that.
No, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting.
When I went off with this thing from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, so...
4 things?
Seems he put the last one in his coat pocket.
He put it here. It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over.
What are you going to do now?
That's none of your business.
Are you running away?
Shut up! You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter.
Franziska,
So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what, and failure? Such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius, there's no doubt about that, but me, I'm a no genius. I've always known of that. I can jump, I can run, but I'm not a smart. But I had to be one. I had to.
you may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be.
No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away.
Speaking of that,
This is why you give the whip back to him.
Wright gave me this to hold on to. Right? You knew something like this would happen, didn't you? And I'm going to say this again. We prosecutors do not fight for personal honor or pride. I hope you will think deeply about what you should be striking down with that whip.
You haven't changed a beat. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally, my chance to take revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you have left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge.
I see.
You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today.
I believe you can, just like how Adrian Andrews did.
Adrian Andrews.
You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics, isn't that right? Today, you chased after me, after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why you are standing here now. And that's why we are standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma.
I'm a Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now. You had better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth.
Let's get. She went. One day, I'm sure we'll meet again in this battle. In battle.
Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again.
Yeah, it is. So do I continue from this file? Oh, right. It doesn't unlock the game. It just... Episode 1. Turnabout Memories.
And that's where we'll pick up next time on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Alright, thanks for watching. I was like, that's probably like 2 hours of the content, and then it was like 3 hours and 50 minutes. So, I'm probably gonna get some dinner first, and then yeah, let's watch stuff. Dang, that was almost 4 hours. Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching. This was a fun game. Probably my least favorite game of the whole series, and now we're on to my favorite game of the whole series. So, really looking forward to that. Alright, I will stop streaming now, and see you soon. Bye-bye.